This next video, what I'm going to talk about is buying apps. They are apps about buying apps, believe it or not. These are a number of different apps that show you different deals. This one's supposed to be specialized. It doesn't list a lot of them, but if it's subjects that interest you, you might want to look at it anyway. So you go into these, and a lot of times I'll tell you what's on sale, and all different criteria. Organize things into different categories. No thanks. You don't want these things that push notifications, because all day long they'll be, no, I don't want to talk to you. All day long they'll be telling you what to see. That's Khan Academy. That's a very popular one. But this is another way to look at it. I recommend that you go and you Google apps. It's kind of ironic because Google's their biggest competition. But if you go into Google and you type in, an idea for an app, and then put the word iPad app after it, you usually find good things. And once you find one, you click on what's related, and you can find other apps. So I'll click out of this one. And a lot of times these also have categories. A lot of times they tell you what's on sale, but if you let the push notifications keep beeping, a photo and video, and no thanks to Canon. These are all different categories. News and business and navigation, books. You have a general interest. But one of the things when you get into using the iPad is you start looking for apps, because no matter how many apps I could show you, you could find other places. Whatever subject you teach is always something specific to how either you teach, or your subject, or your school, your age group, that you're going to have to look for apps. And this is just one of the exciting places to do that. There's another one. There's a bunch of them. And they're free usually. They just want to sell you stuff. But, sometimes that's good, and sometimes they have a good explanation. Going to the iTunes store is good too. I just find it's a little bit rigid sometimes. If you know the app you're looking for, if you click on related, you'll find other apps. Here's App Shopper. There's another one. Same sort of list. It gives a whole bunch of other apps. That one. Oops, that was one for autism, an update on it. So, and a lot of times in some of these you can just read information. This is a good one to read, just information of what's out there. It's good to have more than one source to get this information. Now, if you're looking for a specific type of apps, best apps, these are bookmarks that I made basically as a web page that I save that on my iPad. So here's special ed apps. This is the top 200 special education apps that are out there, and you can go through this. If you search top 200 special ed apps, I didn't create this one. If you search through it, you will find this one. Obviously, you can zoom in, and this, like, for instance, lists Dropbox or Evernote. These are, this list right here happens to be some of the best apps. Dropbox and Evernote, Goodreader are some of the more popular apps that are out there. But, there's a whole bunch of them, and obviously you have to keep going to page to find them. And they do have an index. Let me pinch this down a little bit. They do have an index in here somewhere, so if you're looking for a specific subject, it's there. Moving right along, this is a site with a really odd name. Let's see if I can list the name up at the top somewhere. This is Apps for Autism. But the main page has a really odd name, and this lists a whole ton of apps, a whole bunch that this person has used. People for Autism has links to, and you can try out each one. From obvious things, speech and language and social skills, to certain types of games that might help create language or interaction. Yeah, they just list the iPad apps and resource guide. It has a weird name like Squidoosh. I'd have to go back to the main page, but I have to go right to the spreadsheet because it's hard to find the spreadsheet on the site when you go directly to it. But it has just a really weird name, but it has a long list of apps. So here's another one. This is another website, edteacher.org. And it goes through, asks you a bunch of questions. Don't go to specific ones, but this has a lot of really good ones that are teacher-oriented apps that that have a lot of highly recommendable apps. So this is a good one to look at if you're looking for different type of teacher apps. A lot of good, reliable ones that I use. I found some of the ones that I use here. I found them other places. Yeah, there's Socrative, and it gives their opinion on Socrative. It's a popular one. Evernote, another very popular app. So this is another good one that I like, and that's edteacher.org. Moving right along. Here's another one. Yeah, iPads and Education. You can see it right there, and you can see the web address if you want to go to this. This one I used to have some direct links to, and they changed it. But if you still they have a number of links in this one, and videos and information. A lot of these links go to stuff that's just packed with information. iPads and Education, like I could just randomly click on one. It's a planning guide. Great general resources. So, and you could go click on some of these, but you really have to go from link to link to get the full understanding of the value of that particular website. And you can see the web address up top if you want to look at it. We don't want to spend too much time on each one. So, we're just on that one. Let's go to the next one. Here's another one. Here's the iPad resource for administrators. It says Mid-Hudson Regional Information Center, and they have their web address up there, as you can see. This is a hidden gem. It lists a ton of apps, and you click on some of these, and they give you even more information when you click on individual ones. And it's not one that I think that a lot of people know about. Apps by curriculum area from Apple. Well, that's an interesting one. Apps for teachers, iTunes Store, link. But if you randomly click on some of these, this is just a wealth of information. I mean, obviously Dropbox. People are probably familiar with Dropbox because it's a common one. People use to transfer files to their iPad. So there's another one. Here's when I like this one because when I save the page, the picture came up. That picture isn't on the page. And you can see the Ask a Tech Teacher. There's another one that lists just a ton of, and if you click on these links, there's just so much wealth of information if you're looking for it. If you're looking for particular apps, I recommend this one as well. So I mean, when I find in my journeys, is a lot of times I go to different sites, and I find maybe there might be half a dozen sites that I go to that have most of the information when I'm really going to look for an app, and then a lot of times I have to Google things or go to the iTunes Store and click on related. But there are a lot of really good resources out there. Sometimes people say, well, where do I find all these apps? They're out there. There's a ton of websites out there. There's apps to find apps. There's websites to find apps. There's just Googling stuff. There's the iTunes Store. There's a ton of information, and you need to use it to find the best apps for your subject area and to find those new apps because they're coming out every day. I mean, there are apps I find that are a month old that I'm recommending, and that puts me ahead of everybody else, which is a good feeling to have. This is John L. Sullivan. Thank you.